going, guys? Elra's here. Today we have a guest upload by our good friend Gigo LP or Life Points. I'm not really sure if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. We'll get to that in a second, but I'm going to talk about two things. First off, the guest uploads. There are going to be guest uploads, and the point of those guest uploads is just helping other smaller YouTubers to kind of like connect and create communities with each other, because there are a lot of talented small YouTubers, and they're even starting their way, and they're just having really cool ideas, but their voice is just a little bit down. So I thought it will be nice to do those, and that's also the point of this month, essentially, celebrating with people and kind of help other people as well. So if you want to check those videos, give them a chance. If you don't want to check those videos, that's totally up to you. Just give them a chance if you want to. If you want to check the deck profile that I did on their channel, you're more than welcome to do that. And yeah, we're doing guest uploads. Also, I'm going to say before, they're probably going to be in different time zones, because time zones are a thing, and sometimes I have to upload before them for a few hours, and they have to upload before me in a few hours. It's kind of weird. But anyway, that's that. Also, yeah, the coronavirus situation. I'm not going to get into that way too much, because I think people that are more experienced than me are going to talk about it. I am going to leave in the description down below Marcus Plyer's video, which I watched. It's pretty nice of him to do that. So spread the word and watch his video, because he's talking about it a lot better than me, even though he himself is not an expert. But guys, one thing, don't panic. We'll get through this. I'll try to give you guys quality content so you guys can enjoy, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.
For more video content, hit the subscribe. What's up, Planet, and welcome back to the channel. First and foremost, today marks our journey into Fusion Month. That's right, everybody. Today we are participating in our dear friend Team NDL in his Fusion Month. And the thing is, he's been held captive, and he needs us to help him break free from Alistair's grasp. That's right. That's right. We need to go out there, and we need to save him. And to be able to save him, we need to build one of the most critically acclaimed and stunning fusion deck. And what fusion deck can we not rely on anymore than Cyber Dragons? I need to move the microphone just a smidge bit, because it is kind of in my way a little bit. All right, guys. Here, we're going to take this Cyber Dragon deck, and we're going to go in there, and we're going to save our friend Team NDL. For more information about it, check out his channel, link in the description below. But without further ado, I'm going to show you the arsenal that we'll be taking to war. This is our Cyber Dragon ABC Shaddoll deck profile. Ready? Here we go. We'll move this off to the side. We have two, excuse me, Joey. We have two OG Cyber Dragon. Used to play 3. 2 seems to be suffice. I often generally, when he comes up, you usually either just kind of pitch him off for Nashter, or you can special summon him if you're going turn 2. But like oftentimes the deck has the ability to recycle so much now that you don't really need more than 2. However, having 3 is decent. This is entirely up to you guys. My personal preference is 2. With Machine Dupe, you only get special summon up to 2 anyways. And furthermore, I also kind of want to keep Machine Dupe completely live and well. And to keep that out, I kind of want to see him less in my hand. So that's why I run 2 of him. Cyber Dragon Core, super straightforward reason why you want to run him at 3. He is the heart and soul of the deck. I need this camera to focus. It doesn't want to focus in on this Cyber Dragon Core. Focus. There you go. Well, I mean, you know, as good as it can get. I've got a horrible camera, guys. I'm sorry. But for right now, here we have 3 Cyber Dragon Core. No questions asked. He's basically your spell and trap searcher. Fun fact, he can also search Cyber's spell and trap cards as well, because the word Cyber is in their name. But you can't search cards like Signet, though. So, like, be logical. 3 Hertz. I've seen people run it at 2. Once they run it at 2 and then they kind of like try it out at their events, they kind of realize that 3 is the way to go. I've always played it at 3. You kind of want to see Hertz. Hertz is practically one of the key combo pieces and key extenders with a lot of the cards that you have, such as your Nashter. Sending the Hertz to grave in any way, shape, or form, you get the Cyber Dragon and out to your hand. If you still have Nashter in your hand, you get to pitch the Cyber Dragon, special Nashter, and you get special summon the Cyber Dragon. And the Nashter's effect, or not effect, but condition in locking us into only machines isn't that much of a problem with this deck, just because my variant is more focused on machines. So she shouldn't be, I consider her a she, but she shouldn't be that much of a problem. And I only run 2 just because I think 2 is enough. Having 3, it can get a little bit clunky. 2, it's like you get to see her, but you don't see her as much. You ideally want to search her out, and the deck does pretty strongly when it comes to searching. So a lot of the things you need, you're gonna end up getting to hand anyways. 2 soldiers. Once upon a time, I did try to cut Galaxy Soldier from the deck. Played it out for about a day or 2, and I just missed it so much. Like, he's the honorary Galaxy Soldier. For those of you guys that don't know, he basically summons himself, search another one, and then summon the other copy, and then it's an instant infinity basically. So definitely, he's a definite must, right? So that's it for the Cyber Dragon package. In terms of monsters, we have our A, B, C pieces. This is pretty much standard across the board when it comes to ABCs. If you're playing a pure ABC deck, obviously you want to run 3 ofs. In this deck, we're only doing 2 of each one. It's super enough. These guys work insanely well with Cyber Dragons just because they are also light machines. The ability to search, recur, or even get an extra body out onto the board really pushes this deck to its limits and beyond. And to even further the support of the ABC mechanic, we're doing 2 silver and gold gadgets in their gold rare, just because I used to play their gold rare a long time ago. Yeah, the gold rare is a little bit on the ugly side. When I switched over to the normal super ultra, whatever, I kind of got bored and seeing the kind of like the same style, so I threw the gold rare back in there. But basically, these guys are serving as extenders for some of the targets in an extra deck, and in which you guys will see in the near future as well. In the near future, I mean later in this video. And then the Shaddoll package, 1 beast. I don't really use the Shaddoll package to do too much. Basically, just kind of get me an extra body on the board, gets me an extra draw, and gets me an extra out for whatever could be the problem that we're facing. So ideally, I'd usually send Beast and whatever light machine, depending on the circumstance. Get Construct out, and then I chain link 1. If it's Hertz, I chain link 1 the Beast, chain link 2 Shaddoll, chain link 3 Hertz, just because you'll always have a Cyber Dragon in hand, so it's not too urgent to get a Cyber Dragon to your hand from either grave or deck. Again, it just depends on what the circumstances, but you want to chain block the Construct and the Beast, just so that way you can A, remove unnecessary cards in your deck, and B, get an extra draw, because draw power, extra cards, you're playing ABC, you want to make sure you can discard for the banish. So that's it for the monsters. 2 things, or the next thing, not 2 things, is the spells. We play 2 Repair Plant, 1 Emergency. If I could, I'd play 2 instead of 1. I'm on the fence about playing 3, just because 1, I only have 1 copy. 2, this deck is almost maxed out. There's not a lot of wiggle room left in this deck. So I don't know. And 3, I tend to search this card out to my hand anyways to extend combos. So even though it's ideal that you want to see it in your opening hand, it's also okay to not. Just because you'll eventually see it in your opening hand, or in your first turn hand, or even in your second turn hand. 2 Repair Plants, just because the majority of the time you'd also kind of want to push for your ABC plays as well. So you need to be able to search them out. It's very rare, believe it or not, at least in this deck, it's extremely rare that that you actually draw into this card. Oftentimes this card kind of sits in the deck. I don't know if that's just my luck, but at the same time, I don't know. It's just one of those things that'll also kind of help you recur your resources, like ABC, for example, or even if you have like Seeger or something that you can link into, but Seeger's in your grave, then you can just reshuffle him and go about it that way. One Cyber Load Fusion. I've been on the fence about this card. I've never been a big fan of pushing the fusion plays. God, wow, this camera quality sucks. I've never been a big fan about pushing the fusion plays, but going into the new format in April, I have to consider it. It's just one of those things where it's going to become even more viable as we get closer to that format and as we dive into the format. So one is usually enough, in my opinion. I don't think you need more than one. In my personal opinion as well, I think having too many fusion cards could be a problem. If you have like 4 different fusion cards, you have a chance of drawing the majority of them in your first turn hand, which then completely kills your hand. So I'd rather have combo starters or combo extenders in the deck rather than the quote unquote win condition, right? That's the whole point of getting your combo starters or your extenders, so that way you can get to your win condition. So that's it for the, well, not entirely it for the cyber spells, but we also have 3 machine dupe. It's self-explanatory, completely mandatory when you play cyber dragons. You have Hertz, Nashter, you have Core as your targets. You get your cyber dragons out and you keep going from there. Sometimes when you see machine dupe and they don't ash it, you basically win the game. So I play machine dupe over Inferno Reckless Summon. I know some players kind of play Inferno Reckless Summon. Inferno Reckless it's a good and bad card. It's a give and take. Some of the upside is you can special summon a Cyber Dragon from basically anywhere, hand, deck, or grave. The downside is the card you can only activate the cards when you special summon exactly one monster that has, I think, 1500 or less attack, which in sight doesn't really seem hard, but your opponent also has to control a monster for you to be able to activate this card's effect, and then they also get to special summon multiple monsters with the same name as well. So it's a give and take kind of card, super gimmicky. I think machine dupe is ultimately better because you can play this first turn or second turn and you don't give your opponent anything in the process of gaining anything. So that's my take on that. The next thing here, 3 Union Hanger, 1 Terraforming. 3 Union Hanger, you're playing ABCs, you want to see the ABC pieces as soon as possible or as much as possible in your hand. I was playing it at 2 just because I didn't want to see too many Union Hangers in my opening hand. But like I said, everything's coming down to approaching the new rules in April. So you kind of have to see your ABC pieces as soon as possible, just because ABCs do provide those extending plays and second opportunity plays as well. And then the 1 Terraforming, because we're only allowed the 1 Terraforming. It's not rocket science there. Jumping into the Shaddolls, only 2 Shaddoll fusion. You're not really relying on the Shaddoll mechanic. It's a very, very small mechanic, and it does absolutely an insane amount of damage when you do see this card. If you ever do see this card, especially if you're going second turn, I've got a combo video that kind of shows the ultimate power that this 1 solo card provides for this deck. You feel free to go check that out. But I think 2 is enough. You kind of want to see it, and at the same time, you don't want to see too much of it. And also, when you use 1, you can pitch the other one when you summon constructs. That way, you can eliminate dead cards in your deck. Because I only play the 1 Shaddoll fusion monster. And then I got 3 1-ofs. 1 for 1. Sky Striker Hornet Drones. And then Pot of Avarice. Pot of Avarice, it's self-explanatory. You get to recycle all of your extra deck stuff, and then you get to draw 2, so it's like a major win there. I'm surprised they kind of re-released this card. I feel like they're planning something pretty big with the pot cards. But yeah, that's that card. Hornet Drones, because it's basically a free machine at no cost. On the board, the Sky Striker extra deck monsters are machines. This card is basically the first card you would essentially activate before you put a monster on the main monster zone. You get the token, you link it away for Kagari. I think it's Kagari. I'm forgetting their names, but I know which one I'm talking about. Yeah, Kagari. And then you get this card back to your hand, potentially setting up for just maybe saving yourself. Maybe if your opponent cleared your board for some strange reason but wasn't able to clear this card from being set, you can activate it and get yourself a defensive body, so that way you don't get everything to the face. So it's a great card extender. I really like the way the way it synergizes. So it's the sole reason why I keep it in the deck. 1-for-1. Some people's got mixed feelings about this card. I personally really like it. It like I said, it's all extenders. It's also been a saving grace for me. So you just have to kind of time it right. And I don't think there's any... it's a small window to make a mistake with this card. I think this card can be used to bait out any problems before you go to the key plays, or if you need an extra body, things like that. It could also get you your Nastra out, especially if you draw this late in the game and you have some other monster card for whatever reason in your hand. You got an Infinity in the grave. Like it does wonders. I think it's just a matter of actually using it and not really have to like you can't be closed-minded on the negative side of this card. You have to be open to the positive side of this card. So yeah, I guess I'm one of the few Cyber Dragon players that plays the 1-for-1, which isn't a problem. Everyone has their own style. One Cybernetic Overflow. I play 1 in the main, just because I want to see more of my combo starters and extenders first. But this card is insanely well for card removal in Cyber Dragons. I think the weird thing that people kind of need to keep in mind is if you activate this card in response to something and they negate the card, like the card's activation, and destroy it, you don't get the search. It's a weird ruling. I think it's stupid how they ruled it that way. I think the explanation is something like, oh, when you're activating the card, it's in a state of limbo, so it's kind of like it's not on the field, or whatever the case may be. I don't know. That's Konami making these rules, not me. I'm just playing the game. But if you do get the search, though, it's always great to activate, banish a couple of Cyber Dragons, pop a couple other cards, get the search out your fusion, and then win the game next game. So, 1 Solemn Strike, because Solemn Strike, and then 1 Different Dimension Ground. I would love to run at least 1 more copy, but I play a very Yu-Gi-Oh! From scratch S style. If I don't pull it, I don't play it. I also would like to trade for it as well. Like if I can get my hands on a second copy without having to buy the single itself, I absolutely probably would. But like I said, I carry a very Yu-Gi-Oh! From scratch S mindset and play the cards out that way. On to the extra deck. I play 4 dual dragon tokens and 1 Primo token. Just because, why not? I actually really like the artwork of the dual dragon tokens. And I was just like, yeah, absolutely. And then Primo, because why not? But onto the actual extra deck now. Now that I finished memeing you guys. 1 Seeger. Great way to kill boards, or great way to kind of get over some problems. You use his effect, boost another machine by 2100. Use him to smack over a problem that you might not want to use your other monsters to get rid of, and then just kind of clear the board from there. You could also boost himself up to clear out a problem, and then use your other machines to clear that out. He's been a really really good way of ending games as well. One platinum gadget, self-explanatory. When you link summon him, he can't be used as link material the turn you link summon him, which is a little bit of a bummer, but it makes sense as to why. He gets you an extra body on the board. You can special summon a level 4 or lower machine from your hand out to a zone that he points to. So, logically, some extenders, some extension plays that happens here. One Cleefort Genius. Okay. I've like completely fallen in love with this card. This card I used to play 2 of when it first came out, and I was the reason why I love this card so much is because it saved my skin so many times. To this day, it still does. For those of you guys who do not know what this card does, basically he has 2 effects. One, when 2 monsters are special summoned to both his zones at the same time, I get to search a level 5 or higher machine monster from my deck and add it to my hand. I think it's level 5 or higher. I just know it's a high level monster. His other effect, which is the effect that I love the most, is I can target it's target, right? I believe it's target. I can target 1 card my opponent controls, and then 1 card I control, negate their effects for the rest of the turn. So, if, let's say, Mystic Mind touches the field and he was already out on the field because he's unaffected by spells, trap. Well, let's not use Mystic Mind just because it really can get weird. Let's say, let me think of someone to help me think of a good. You know what? Let's say Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Let's say for some strange reason my opponent decides not to flip my 2 machines face down. I link into Cleefort and I have a Union Hanger out, and I've already used Union Hanger's effects to the fullest. I can go ahead and negate my Union Hanger and negate Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Boom. He will never be a problem for the rest of the turn. This card has been a saving grace of mine for so long. 1 Aids Kagari. Like I said, it's a free machine with Hornet Drone. To special summon the token, link for the Kagari, get the Hornet card back to your hand. It's a machine. This is basically my my go-to play when I see this card to get into platinum gadgets. I mean, why not? And then 1 Amblo Whale. This card has been interesting and unique at the same time. It's been super circumstantial, and I really like the way it does. But when we get our hands on the new Union Carrier and the Mecha Phantom Beast new Link monsters, this card and potentially Cleefort Genius might be tagged out for those two of the Link monsters, just because we all know what Union Carrier does. It's without a doubt the card that everybody's trying to get their hands on. With Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon or something like that, whatever that Link card's name is. When he's Link summoned, you get 3 tokens. You can pop 1 token to pop 1 monster your opponent controls, or you can pop all 3 tokens, or technically it's tribute. You can tribute all 3 tokens, and then you can actually add back a trap card that you have in the grave. So we don't use the second. We're not going to use the second effect just because we don't play any Mecha Phantom Beast in the deck. So there's that for all the Link monsters. 1 Nova, 1 Infinity. The game's so fast, honestly, that you only realistically need 1 and 1, in my personal opinion, especially since you have like cards like Naster that can recur both of these from the grave. And then you have cards like Cyber Dragon Rampage that can shuffle these back into the deck in the event that they get banished. So it's just one of those things where you just kind of come to terms and you're just like 1 and 1's just fine enough. Gear Gigant searches almost every freaking thing in the deck, so why wouldn't you want to play him? Time Thief Redoer is my little bit of a spice in the extra deck. I've always found it a bonus to be able to take away from my opponent. He's also a great way of creating space in the main monster zones, and then kind of putting the pieces back into the grave, and then he just comes back in the end phase. So why not? That's that for the Exceeds. Now for the Fusions. ABC Dragon Buster, Mega Fleets, Fortress Dragon, Rampage Dragon, and Constructs. Super kind of nervous about Mega Fleet just because with when April kind of rolls around, it just feels like the extra monster zone is not going to be utilized as much actually. We only use it because we have to now, and come April, all the extra deck monsters that are a problem, besides Appaloosa or the Hereditary, whatever that Link to Thunder card is, or even IP, like all those cards, yeah, they have to go to the main deck. But cards like Millennium Eyes Restrict or Thunder Dragon Titan or even ABC Dragon Buster, like those cards, they don't touch, or they don't have to touch the extra monster zone. So I'm pretty nervous about keeping Mega Fleet in the extra deck. I guess this is kind of one of those, you have to wait and see how the format rolls. Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, I don't know. I've been on the fence about this one, just because I know Cyber Dragons are on the rise again. You kind of fear the mirror match. On top of that, Spirals. I'm pretty sure Spiral still has a couple of machine plays as well. It's just one of those kind of iffy things. One thing I absolutely will say though is, if I do get my hands on the Mecha Phantom Beast Link monster, special summon those 3 tokens. Those 3 tokens are machines. So if I'm turn 2 and I have a Cyber Dragon on the field, then I can get those 3 tokens out on the field. I can tribute a token, pop a monster, and then fusion summon the other 2 tokens and a Cyber Dragon away for a 3k beater. So I mean, there's that as well. Rampage Dragon, because Rampage Dragon, shuffle back your banished Cyber Dragon monsters. You get him out and you get to pop back row and swing 3 times. Why not? Shaddoll Construct, because Shaddoll Construct. That's practically it for the extra deck. Onto the side. Side is probably one of the most malleable pieces of work when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Everyone's got their own version. Here's mine, and bear in mind all the cards in my deck that I have. It's because this is what I have. I trade or I pull, but I don't buy singles. So with that being said, that's why I have 1 Nibiru. I know, surprising. I pulled 1 Nibiru. 2 Ash Blossoms. I do have a third, but I think 2 is perfectly fine. Just because I also play the 2 Droll and Lockbird as well. I'm throwing that a little too high. It's just one of those things where you want to see an opening hand, but you want to see it too much because Ash Blossom is a hard once per turn. Droll and Lockbird, I don't think Droll is a hard once per turn. You might want to consider running 3. But yeah, I guess this is the direction that the meta is going to be going to, where you kind of want to prevent stuff happening from the deck for whatever reason, or your opponent just getting anything else from the deck. So that's the direction we go. Nibiru, because Nibiru clears out practically the whole board. If your opponent can survive from that, kudos to them. They're actually a really skillful player. If they can't, you better hope that you can put up a board that'll clean the game. My other Cybernetic Overflow, I prefer to always have access to 2 of these, just because, like I said, this trap card is really, really good removal for Cyber Dragons. 1 Evenly Match, as much as I would like to have at least 2, I only have the 1, and it's a secret rare, so it's super pretty. Look at that. But yeah, Evenly Match clears the board up to 1 card. 2 Heavy Storm Dusters. The reason why I play Heavy Storm Duster and not really so much as Twin Twister and just 2 instead of 3 is because, 1, I already have a lot of removal for almost anything with Cybernetic Overflow, as well as ABC that can also banish stuff. 2, this card, it's slow, but it's at no cost to me. Ideally, if I want to get rid of something in the back row, you kind of want to get rid of it early in the game. So you either kind of go first turn, even if you go turn 2, the deck kind of produces its own resource to where you can probably play around things, or you can actually work around problematic cards. And you can always respect the back row as well when you make your moves, because this deck is built to kind of play around a lot of problematic disruptions. But yeah, so that's why I have 2. 3 Called by the Grave, because Called by the Grave. Talking about disruptions. And then 3 Dark Ruler No More. Turn them off. You don't want to deal with the problems anymore. So that's that. But there you have it, guys. This is the deck profile that we're currently rocking. I'm still experimenting with something else, but to be able to experiment with it, we have to pull the cards we need for it. Scrap Wyvern. I would definitely keep trying to pull cards for it, but booster packs are expensive. Well, at least they're on their own. They're not expensive, but if you try to buy like maybe a couple of times, or a couple, if you try to buy like 3 or 4 like 3 or 4 packs per times, basically the price accumulates, guys, and they can get very expensive, especially if you're not as lucky as a lot of people. Like if you're as unlucky as I am, you're going to be buying a lot of packs. I've tried to find someone to be able to trade, but so far not a lot of people have access to Scrap Recycler like the rest of the world really does. And I do my best to not buy a single. So there's that. Eventually, if I ever do get my hands on these cards, hopefully Scrap Recycler doesn't make its way on the ban list. I can definitely work out some new magic and show you guys a new deck profile using the scrap mechanic rather than with Orcus, with something else. It would be super interesting. I would love to show you guys, but only if I have the cards though. So there you have it, the deck profile that we will be using to be able to save our friend Team NDL from the likes of the Invokers and Alistair. If you guys liked the video, feel free to hit the like button. If you guys wish to see more content like this, consider hitting the subscribe. And as always, if you guys want to see all kinds of variants that I do with Cyber Dragons, throw the comment section below, and I'll do my best to concoct as many as I can. I usually kind of go out of the box when it comes to Cyber Dragons, just because Cyber Dragons is such a durable, not durable, but a flexible archetype. It doesn't really have any self-restrictions other than Master. But the timing of a lot of these cards are so flexible and amazing that you can do a lot with them, right? That's how I stumbled across the original Cyber Dragon ABC Phantom Knights Orcus build that I had back when all of that was still together. But yeah, like I said, if you guys want to see more content, consider hitting subscribe and like the video. If you guys just want to have a day of me throwing stuff at you, then just have a day of me throwing stuff at you. We can make that happen too. It's been fun. It's been great. It's been awesome. I'm excited for the new format. I wasn't going to release a deck profile this soon just because April is right around the corner. But I thought, I can just showcase what's currently happening here. And this deck has been the most fun to play. So enjoy it while we have it. Take care, guys. Have a good one.